What is good, everyone, and welcome back to the Nostalgia Plus Ultra podcast. My name is Nostalgia. Joining me is As Told by Zoe. What's good, my guy?
What's up? In clear 1080p HD now.
We're not gonna have you glitching out during the podcast today.
No, sir.
Let's say a prayer real quick before we get started. Dear Lord, I hope that Zoe's computer has the capacity to hold up, and we can get through this episode without taking a break. All right, here we go.
Yes, sir.
We are in business. All right, so today, big episode today. I guess I want to apologize for last episode. Not really, but also like, hey, we didn't really talk about much anime or much of anything for that matter. Just kind of stuff we were kind of going through. So today is a more structured episode, and today we're talking about power systems. Now, it could be power systems in anime. I will take a more anime approach to power systems. I think Zoe will probably have a little bit more variation between his power systems and what he talks about. So we kind of get the best of both worlds in that kind of regard. So did you have a question you wanted to ask me before we get started, or is it part of the question I was going to ask for the talking points?
No. It has to do with power systems. So
okay.
Go first.
So I guess to the first question, we're going to just kind of get out of the way. And one thing that I was thinking about is what makes a power system interesting. Okay, and so what I mean by interesting is like interesting to you. I know people talk about like, oh, what makes a power system good, or what are the best power systems, right? But like sometimes there could be good power systems that aren't interesting. Mm-hmm. I feel like that's weird to say to me, but I feel like there are certain power systems that make sense narratively, that work, but I may not be inclined to be interested in them because of certain aspects of them, and I'll kind of get to that later, but I just want to talk about what makes a power system interesting to me or you. So I'll start with you. What do you think makes a power system interesting to you?
Well, when you first came to me with this idea about the power systems episode, I had to do some research, because like I get the gist of a power system, but I had to go like in depth, because I know you wanted to ask me some questions, and reading some stuff. I never really thought of it this way, but Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood kind of technically has a power system.
Yeah.
With alchemy.
Right.
And thinking about it that way, it's very interesting, because it's very much like it's not Dragon Ball Z, where like I guess the whole point of the show, like obviously there's plots in Dragon Ball, but like the whole point of the show is the power system. It's like, how strong can someone get? How like what's the next tier of Super Saiyan that Goku will hit? That's kind of the whole point of the show. And in Full Metal Alchemist, yeah, they get stronger and stuff, but like it's kind of more in the background. Like the show's more about oh my god, I forgot the blonde kid's name. Alphonse and
Edward?
And Edward. I almost called him Edwin.
No.
The show's about Alphonse and Edward,
Yeah.
And their story of trying to get his brother's body back and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And so what makes it more interesting is the fact that it's a little bit less talked about. It's not all that's on Edward's mind. It's kind of just like he needs to learn, and like I guess the audience learns with him, and then you find someone else that has other crazy powers, but it all makes sense within the rules of the show. That's what also makes it interesting, and
right.
then that makes it interesting, but also I don't know if you'll talk about this later. It has to be one side of the spectrum. either really concise and makes sense, or really fucking stupid and just really flashy like JoJo.
I mean, me and you are gonna get to JoJo's later, but I definitely see what you mean by that. So yeah, it's one of those things. For me, I guess me being the nerd that I am, I took notes and kind of made things more concise so I can kind of express them clearly. So
Sure.
for me, what makes a power system interesting is versatility, kind of a real world application of it, kind of. Rules and limitations that are clearly defined and not just for the sake of plot, and then have some sort of strategy involved in their application. And so, like when it comes to a power system, like is it a situation where? So I know I tweeted this out in the, you know how Twitter has like communities now. So like as a part of like the Black anime Twitter community, in that kind of group, I tweeted about what makes a power system interesting to the people in that community. I got a few responses. I know people. Somebody had said, I can't remember his name, but he's part of the, I think, Mike Check Waifu podcast. He said if it has real world application to concepts, so if it has something to do with alchemy, right? So alchemy is a real thing in real world that has its own power system within Full Metal Alchemist. So that's kind of one example. Or you have stuff like I'll get to it in a second, but like Fire Force, how all the applications of fire and stuff like that. So having that real world application to it makes it a little bit more interesting because you can kind of visualize it kind of happening in the real world. I know Fire Force is a bit of a stretch, but when it comes to alchemy, you could definitely see it like working out in the real world. Obviously not to the effect in FMA because it is at the end of the day an anime, a fictional story. So nobody can use alchemy to create these like little fists that come out of the ground to punch somebody in the face. Nobody's going to be able to do that in real life. But
it's the whole point of alchemy is something that applies to the real world. You need something to make something.
Exactly. Yeah. It's so easy. So also strategy. So I'm a big, you know me, I'm a big like mystery kind of I like mystery and suspense and strategy forms of media. Anything that has something to do with like some kind of strategy or expanded thinking on how to go about something, I'm all for it. So having certain types of strategies that can be used and applied to a power system when it comes to fighting against each other is super interesting to me. And so one power system that I didn't put on my list of favorite ones that was also a response in the Black anime Twitter community was the use of Geass in Code Geass. So Lelouch's Geass obviously is located in his eye, and if he looks at you and gives a command, you basically have to follow that command because he's under your spell. The issue is, and this is where the strategy and rules limitations being clearly defined come into play, he can only use it on that person one time. So like he has to be very cognizant of who he uses on and at what time he uses it and how he applies it. Because I know there's one other fight, and it's kind of spoiler territory, not really, but kind of. There's an episode where he fights against somebody else who has a Geass. So yes, it is a spoiler. He's fighting against somebody that has another Geass similar to his. And so what he ends up doing, which he probably didn't want to do but has to do, is use the Geass on himself to erase his memory of using it on himself in order to like win the fight. Essentially, it's honestly, I'm not doing a good job of explaining how he did it. You're just gonna have to watch the episode. But
it sounds like anime.
It's on like Netflix right now. But basically, he has to use the Geass on himself in order to win the fight because I think the other dude's Geass allows him to read minds. I think it is. And so if Lelouch doesn't have the idea of what's going on in his mind because he used the Geass on himself, it's a lot easier for him to figure out the problem and beat the guy. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that kind of strategy involved made me more inclined to enjoy it a little bit more. And so if I find the tweet in post, I'll put it up for that guy who replied to my tweet. But
sure.
But yeah, so like that's basically what I think makes a power system interesting. It just has to. I think a big part of it is strategy. to me, and like the versatility, like how many different ways can you use this type of power system to work. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. Not. Yeah. Again, bringing it back. Not Stardust Crusaders.
I mean, okay, I'll get to that in a second.
Yeah.
I'll get to that in a second. But I'll explain what the deal is with when it comes to JoJo stands. But go ahead.
The question that I have, it kind of goes into what makes a power system interesting. My question is Dragon Ball's power system, 1, interesting, 2, good? Because the thing is, I haven't caught up. Like when I was a kid, I watched Dragon Ball Z, and then like I saw a little bit of Dragon Ball Super, and then kind of faded away. So I haven't kept up.
Yeah.
But it's like every time I turn around, it's like there's a new Super Saiyan.
Yeah, a new version.
And it gets to the point where it's like, does Goku still have a lot to learn? Like, is he gonna hit another one? Like, where's the end?
Yeah, I feel you. I don't know. I'm kind of torn when it comes to Dragon Ball Z, because I say at this current point in time, it's not to me anymore. But at the same time, as a kid growing up, it most definitely was. So like, you got to think of like, there's very real world application of martial arts when it comes to the base version of Dragon Ball Z when it comes to fighting. So you have actual like martial arts techniques,
yeah,
as well as the application of ki, right, to like fire off the ki blast and the Kamehameha wave and other things like that, right? So those are, even though they're anime and fictional versions, those are real world applications of Japanese fighting techniques. So that part's cool. That part's fine with me. You also have the power system when it comes to Saiyans and their ability to, kind of level up through, emotions and anger and other things like that. And for a time, there were, I guess, limitations to it, and stuff like that, where like, you can only get to Super Saiyan 1 and nobody was able to get to Super Saiyan 2, and how there was a time limit on it because, I think it was only like you can only be Super Saiyan whatever for like 2 or 3 minutes. You know what I'm saying? It had early on, it had those limitations, which made it interesting. I think the problem is that I can't remember the writer of Dragon Ball Z's name, and it's gonna be, I think it's Toriyama. I think I'm gonna get killed if I don't remember this guy's name. I think it's Toriyama.
Akira Toriyama, he designed them. Like, he does the Dragon Quest designs too. I don't know if he's a writer.
Yeah, so I would say Toriyama. I know, a fake anime fan over here.
No, he's the creator. He's the creator.
I'm about to say, it's Toriyama. I think Toriyama wrote himself into a corner when it comes to the power system, because as a character, Goku's always looking for the next best fight, always looking to get stronger. So when you keep introducing villains that are more strong, that are stronger each time, that keep on going, of course you're gonna have to make newer and more levels to your power system, and also give some of the other characters involved more powers as well too. So that's when he started introducing the fusions. When he started introducing Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan, Super Saiyan Blue, Super Saiyan Red. I thought the peak was gonna be Ultra Instinct, and I thought that was gonna be like when. And in my opinion, I feel like Dragon Ball Z should have ended a while ago. I know that's kind of a hot take. I feel like it should have ended. It should have ended with the Tournament of Power against Jiren. I think if they would have just ended like that, like they avoid some kind of world-ending destruction, like Goku saves all these universes from getting destroyed, and just you end it off of that, that's fine. You can have Goku be the end-all, be-all, most powerful person in fiction, with Ultra Instinct being the case. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's, you can just have that part, but they keep on adding new villains and stuff like that. Like they have, I don't know, I can't remember if Goku actually beats him in the movie, but they have Beerus, who literally can destroy planets. If he sneezed, he could destroy an entire universe. So you
Yeah.
see the kind of people that he's fighting against. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
I feel like that's a problem in some ways too, because you're just like, okay, how many levels are they going to go with it? And I think after a while it gets stale. That's what I was looking for. That's what I was looking for.
Yeah.
It's a very long-winded way of saying that Dragon Ball Z's power system got stale because you keep making more power systems, more power levels that don't really do anything different. I think the only thing like super actually different that they gave to Goku was Ultra Instinct with like, you know, he's with the limit, with the stipulation that he has to be close to death for one, and two, gives him this like crazy awareness to be able to dodge all these attacks and not be able to take any kind of damage. You know what I'm saying? That's like the first time I felt like they changed something up as far as Super Saiyan levels. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I think I got stale in that regard. But I mean, you could, if you want to add anything on that, you can too.
No, I agree because like that's why I'll watch a Dragon Ball movie like whenever it comes. Like I'm hyped for superhero. I'm gonna watch Dragon Ball Superhero, but I don't have any interest to like watch the show anymore because like the stakes are just gonna keep like as the stakes get higher, it doesn't feel as like interesting
Because
kind
you know at one point in time either Goku or Vegeta are going to power up to some
Yeah.
other level. Like I think now, I could be totally wrong, and if anybody wants to correct me, shameless plug, at me on Twitter, at Nos Ultra, and tell me if I'm wrong about this. But I think in this more current arc of Dragon Ball Super, I could have sworn that Goku learned how to do Ultra Instinct without being close to death. And so now it's just like, what was the point?
Yeah.
I could
Yeah.
I could be completely missing the mark, and this is just something that I probably just saw in passing.
Sure.
Is Goku now has the ability to access Ultra Instinct without being close to death. I could be wrong about that, but if my assumption is correct, that's kind of bullshit, low key.
Yeah, because
Because-
it's like it takes away from the fact of how special Ultra Instinct would be.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like oh my god, Goku's getting his ass fucking kicked. But now if he could access Ultra Instinct anytime, it's like all right, cool. I
Exactly.
guess.
You know what I'm
I
saying?
mean, and this isn't really a knock on Dragon Ball because the thing is, it's Dragon Ball. It's iconic.
Yeah.
And it's fucking. It's cool. I'm not. Yeah, fucking like watching all the fights are cool, and making all the jokes, all the inside like. You know, when the memes started, it's over 9,000, and then, fucking, you as time goes on, different memes have popped up, and
yeah, and plus the Dragon Ball Abridged series, which is so funny.
yeah,
by the way.
exactly. So like, I'm not here to say Dragon Ball is bad
No.
because it is cool to like. I guess it's the Simpsons of anime, but
oh no, I think it's it has its merits. It's also very fun to slander as well. I think it's really hilarious to slander. In any opportunity I get to slander Dragon Ball, I'm pretty much gonna do it with no
Yeah.
hesitation. But yeah, I mean, for all those, I'm gonna tag the Dragon Ball, hashtag when we put this episode out. And hopefully we don't get attacked by Dragon Ball fans. Hopefully.
yeah, it's just it's an interesting question to pose, and if anyone has a different viewpoint on maybe explain why the power system is interesting to them, I'm interested in hearing about it.
Yeah, exactly. So do you have, I know you talked about the Full Metal Alchemist power system. Do you have any other power systems that you enjoy, that you liked? What are your favorite
when I
power
was-
systems?
When I was looking through, I saw a lot about Hunter x Hunter, which fans don't crucify me, I haven't seen yet.
Okay.
I do plan on seeing it. I don't know why I haven't started. I think because it's long, and I'm trying to get through like short series.
Yeah,
First.
yeah. I mean, I'm not gonna Yeah, but I feel like I saw, it's funny. I saw this like topic today. People were talking about how nobody really wants to watch like the more popular anime nowadays because they're so long. So like Naruto, Bleach, One Piece, Hunter x Hunter, all that stuff because of the fact that they're really long. And I totally get it. These are shows that went at the height of their peak were coming out weekly, sometimes sometimes monthly. I can't remember if Hunter x Hunter was weekly or not. It might have been, but
And it's hard because it's hearing about new anime dropping is different than hearing about the newest Netflix show dropping. Because when it comes to like Western media, you're kind of into like you'll be into one thing, like one type of show.
right.
Like someone could be into dating shows, and that's why Netflix has like Love is Blind and shit like that. Or you'll be into murder mysteries, and they have documentaries, but those come out it's in separate like months apart.
Yeah.
If you're like into anime, you're kind of more open-minded into like watching different genres of anime. So
Right.
I think that's why it's hard to go back and watch older, longer series, because cool, I just caught up with Demon Slayer. Let me watch My Dress Up Darling, and okay, I finished this. Let me watch Food Wars. Like I can see someone that will be into all three of those shows.
Exactly.
A shonen, a romance, and then one about food. Like
Yeah.
I can't see that as like someone who just watches Western media. So
Yeah.
I think that's why it's so hard to watch older stuff. But back to the main point. You've seen Hunter x Hunter?
I have. Okay. Funny enough.
Without spoiling it, can you explain the power system?
No
or-
fucking way, because I was gonna do that anyways. Okay. All right. You know what's funny? I'm gonna make this into a clip. Hello, class. Welcome to Nostalgia Plus Ultra 101, and today we're going to be talking about Nen. I'm going to explain Nen the best of my ability, hopefully in 2 minutes, so I can put this on TikTok or put this on
Okay.
Twitter. And go. Okay, so Nen, basic properties about Aura. Aura basically is on all people. People who, just don't go through the whole process of learning Nen, have Aura that leaks out of them. It's part of your initial training is to conceal that Nen and like be able to, hone it to the best of your ability. Okay. So with Nen, is very, very versatile. All right. So I'll get to the types in a second, but the types overlap and they also have different combinations you can add to them. Okay. So there are clear and defined rules, I guess clear and defined in quotation marks, but
Sure.
if you look hard enough, they're very clear and defined. Okay. So they're rooted in very basic principles around the concept of aura. Okay. So there's Ten, controlling the flow of aura around you. There's Zetsu, masking or hiding your aura. There's Hatsu, which is the personal expression or release of your aura, which in turn is your Nen ability. Okay. You got that part so far?
Yeah.
Okay. So there are advanced techniques on top of that come with combining those three basic properties. Okay. So here we go. There's Gyo, which is a large concentration of aura into one part. It's more mainly used in the eyes. Okay. So if you do that, if you use Gyo, you can be able to, you can like look at somebody who may be using Hatsu. So like if if someone's hiding their Nen ability, using Gyo will be able to help you see them. You see?
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? Okay. So there's Gyo, which is a large concentration of aura into one part of the body. Specifically, most people do it in the eyes. There's In, which is concealing your Nen ability, which is a more heightened version of Zetsu. Okay.
Okay.
So then you have. Okay, I know it's a lot, but we're gonna work through it. There's N, which is extending your aura out further. Okay. So like when it comes to. Oh shit. Okay. No, let me go back. Sorry. I skipped one on accident. Let me go back. So 10 is controlling the flow of aura around you. Zetsu is masking or hiding your aura. Ren, is outwardly projecting your aura. And then Hatsu is your personal expression or release of the aura. Okay? Okay. So there's controlling flow, there's masking or hiding, there's projecting it outward, and then there's your personal expression of it. So then you have Gyo, which is large concentration in one part of your body. You have In, which is concealing it, which is basically just Hatsu, which is Zetsu, basically just Zetsu. You have En, which is kind of like Ren, just further out. So like it's kind of like how you know how people are like, oh, if you step into my range, I can like, you know, the EI sword technique, basically, where like you kind of sit there. You can. That's essentially that's what that is. Okay. So then you have Shu, which is like concentrating aura into an object. So if I pick this water bottle up, I can put aura into it, right? Then you have Shu, which is concentrating your aura into an object. You have Ko, which is putting aura into a body part while cutting off the flow of other areas. Okay, so if I have my fist, if I'm using Ko, I can just put all of 100% of my aura into my fist. Okay, jeez. All right. Okay. So then you have Ken, which is basically using aura to harden your body. So it's kind of like, you know, you're outwardly projecting your aura and making it like a solid around your body so you can get protected from big hits.
Harden from Pokemon.
Basically.
Okay.
And then the last one is Ryu, which is the ability to devote specific percentages of aura to places on your body, which is kind of like...
On. Those last two were Street Fighter characters. You can't pull a fast one on me.
Okay, so with the basic and more advanced applications of aura, now you can get into like actual Nen abilities, you know, the Hatsu part where you're actually releasing your aura out into your personal expression. So when it comes to the types of Nen, you have enhancers, transmuters, conjurers, emitters, manipulators, and specialists. Okay, enhancers are people that specialize offense and defense. They're a very basic type of Nen ability, kind of like how Gon, you know, can just emit his, or not emit, but harden his body for defense, and then it just use Nen to like punch through something, you know, and act, you know, increase his strength by punching through something using his enhancement techniques. You have transmuters who can take their aura and shape it into whatever they want to. So I know you've seen Hisoka before. You've seen what he looks like, right?
Yeah.
Have you you've seen clips of his little ability, correct?
I don't know if this is anything to go by, but I've played Jump Force. So I've seen Gon, Killua, and Hisoka's power, and then the blonde guy who looks like a chick.
Talking about Kurapika?
Yeah, so I've seen their powers. And
okay, so it makes it really easy for me to explain it then. So Enhancer is Gon, so you know he can like kind of harden his body. He punches a lot, so you have like the enhancing your body to, you know, have high damage output. You have transmuters, which is like Killua and Hisoka. Killua is more easy to explain. So Killua can give his aura properties of certain things. So his property is electricity. So he can give his aura electricity to give himself speed and other attack enhancements. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
You have conjurers, which is Kurapika, who can you can create things with your aura. So he can create those chains on his hand, which gives him, you know, certain abilities to do with those chains. Emitters, I know you haven't watched the show, but Leorio is an emitter. I'm not going to tell you what his ability is because I want you to see for yourself. But basically, emitter, it's like kind of shooting a gun. So I can basically take my aura and shoot it out as a projectile, in a way.
Okay, Yu Yu Hakusho stuff.
Yeah, basically. Okay. Kind of, yeah, kind of. And then, ironically enough, Togashi wrote both of those. Togashi created Yu Yu Hakusho and Hunter x Hunter.
I've also seen, he's in the game, Lizard Boy. I forgot his name. He's the bad guy in Hunter x Hunter.
Lizard Boy. Okay.
He looks like a lizard. He's green. He's got a tail.
Oh, you talking about Meruem? Like the big swole, like ant-looking dude? With the big-ass tail? Like the green and purple dude. Yeah, it's Meruem.
Yeah.
That's Meruem. Okay.
He's supposed to be an ant?
Yeah, it's the Chimera ant.
He's green.
He's a Chimera ant.
Oh.
You have to watch the show. You have to watch the show.
Yeah, I've heard a lot about the Chimera ants.
He's the main bad guy in the Chimera Ant arc. You have to watch the show. Okay, that's basically all I'm gonna tell you about him.
Also, I don't know if this is a spoiler, but Gon's his like ult.
Oh yeah, it's a big ass spoiler.
It's him. Okay, I've learned a lot about spoilers from Jump Force.
Jump Force. Random tangent. Jump Force really be fucking up people when it comes to this anime shit because all their special abilities are spoilers, which is so funny.
I've seen Luffy's like Gear 4, Gear 7.
And that doesn't even happen until way later.
Yeah, and then I've seen his ult is like, he becomes a man.
Yeah, no, there's specific context to his ult that you have to see for that. Same thing with Kilo was his ult. The only ult for Hunter x Hunter that is okay, that's not necessarily spoiler. Oh, well, I mean, regardless, it still is. If you've seen Hunter x Hunter, Kurapika's, if you've seen, honestly, within the first couple arcs of Hunter x Hunter, you're okay. You know what Kurapika's ult is gonna be. Gon's doesn't come to way later. Kilo's doesn't come to way later. So I feel like that's a huge spoiler. Same thing with One Piece. With how dense and how long One Piece is, they really fucked that up.
The devs of that game pick and choose weird times because, like, for someone who hasn't seen, thank God I had caught up with My Hero, but like, Deku's ult is like a smash without breaking his arm.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, he does get stronger.
They really did nitpick that.
But Bakugo's ult is just the howitzer spin.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, he's been doing that since like season 1. So exactly. I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah,
okay, but back to Hunter x
Hunter. Yeah, so back to Hunter x Hunter. Where was I? Okay, so you have Enhancers, which is Gon, Transmuter, which is Hisoka and Killua, Conjurers, which is Kurapika, Emitters, which is Leorio, Manipulators, there's a person in Manipulators, there's no person in the main group that's a manipulator. So I would basically
I brought up the ant guy cuz like what is he?
I can't remember what Meruem is. I think either Meruem's a specialist or he's probably an enhancer, low key. I can't remember exactly what he is. But his do you want me to just like he only uses his ability one time, and so it's not necessarily it is a spoiler, but not really. Do you want me to tell you what it is?
I've most likely seen it. So
basically, his ability is he can learn everything about people and learn their abilities just by eating their brain. But he only does it one time.
Yeah.
Because he's already so fucking strong and already understands the basic properties of Nen and Aura. Like he understands all of the advanced techniques and the base techniques to a T. So he doesn't need to use his ability more than one time. He only did it one time.
He sounds like a creep.
He only did it one time. So that's so I guess it's a spoiler, but not really. But manipulators are able to just kind of like with Shu, like directing your aura into an object, you can kind of manipulate certain things. So if there's a character who I'm not going to tell you who it is, but has the ability to like put like a pin on somebody, and from a separate like phone he conjured up. Cause I'll tell you about that in a second. He conjured up. He can use that phone to manipulate that person. You see what I'm saying? Or
Homeboy is dropping pins, actually.
Killua's brother. I feel like I'm spoiling a lot for you, but I had to explain the power system to you. But Killua's brother has like pins in his face that he can put pins in and like rearrange the facial structure of somebody. So he has them on himself, and if he takes them all out, it's his regular face. But like, there's one time where he throws it at somebody and a pin sticks in their forehead, and then like their entire face gets rearranged and they die because they got fucked up. You know what I'm saying? Like internal bleeding.
Okay. Yeah,
you see what I'm saying? So you can manipulate certain things using your aura. So you have, and then specialists are like people who would just have special abilities that don't fall into any of the other categories. So there's a couple of villains that have them. Kurapika is also a specialist, but I don't want to reveal what his ability is because I want you to watch it.
I've I don't remember his ult from the game, so I don't think a lot is spoiled. I just remember Gones because he's a dude. Um, I've heard a lot about Kurapika. Like I've heard that he's sick.
Yeah, his is pretty good. His also has limitations to it too, which I think is pretty cool. Like on himself, there's also random things, and I'll get into Jujutsu Kaisen's power system too a little bit because it's one of my favorites. Because it's very similar in strategy and application when it comes to Nen. I think a lot of I know somebody tweeted the other day and I saw it. I can't remember who it was, but they basically said that all the Jujutsu Kaisen fights are just fully realized versions of Hunter x Hunter fights, and I could not agree more. And I'll explain it in a second. So, where was I at? Okay, so basically, when it comes to Nen, each person has their own Nen type, and you can learn up to 100% of that Nen type. However, have you seen like the Nen like tree diagram thing? Okay, so there's like a diagram which has each specific type on a wheel. Okay, so you have your main one, and then as you go down the tree, the percentage of the the high percentage that you can learn is like decreased. So say I'm an enhancer, so I'm at the very top of the tree. To one side is transmuter, and the other side is emission, right? So if I can learn 100% of enhancer techniques, I can only learn 80% of emission and transmutation techniques.
Okay.
I can try to put my all into those kind of techniques, but they're not going to be as powerful because my main type is enhancer. Do you get it? Okay.
Yeah.
So like that's, in a nutshell, that's what like Nen, the power system of Nen is. It's very basic principles that have some advanced, things, application to them that lead to the Nen type. So basically you can have an Nen type. I'm an enhancer and I use Shu and N with my ability. Just my personal expression is a little bit different in how I use it. You see what I'm saying? Like the different combinations you can build with it. It's very deep, very dense when it comes to the power system. But once you kind of see how it works, you have to watch the show to really see it. But having an understanding of it.
It does sound very in depth and very thought out.
It's definitely.
I bet if I watched the show, I'd understand it a little more. But no, it does sound interesting.
Yeah,
I was gonna bring up JJK because have you read it?
Dude, I'm all caught up. The new chapter just dropped today.
Exactly. So I've only seen season 1.
Okay.
And I'm gonna see the movie later this month.
Yep.
So to me, it's like it's interesting, but it's a little confusing.
It's
because I've only seen the first season.
Yeah. What's funny is it's essentially kind of like Nen without all the crazy basic, without all like the prerequisite basics and advanced techniques along with it. Those are just kind of implied that they are there. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, I reinforce my body with cursed energy, or I apply cursed energy to an object, or I send cursed energy out as a projectile. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They're not calling it Ngyo, Shu, Kanryu. They're not calling it that. They're just saying, I did this with cursed energy. So you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like in a regard, if you think of cursed energy like Nen, I think it's a lot easier to understand, which is crazy to say because Nen is the most complex power system in anime. But if you think about it like Nen, it makes a lot of sense, especially if you have a legit understanding of Nen. It makes understanding cursed energy way easier. And then you have the only thing is probably reverse curse technique, which is kind of confusing. But if you think about it in terms of like, you know how it's curse energy is basically like negative emotions projected outward.
Yeah.
So if it's negative emotions, if you apply a negative and a negative, what do you get? A positive.
Positive.
A positive. So
Don't do math
essentially,
on me, please.
exactly. So essentially, applying negative energy to negative energy, or negative emotions to negative emotions, and internally creates like a positive output, which is a reversed version of your curse technique.
Okay.
So if you could use that, so instead of how anger and hatred are usually more destructive emotions, right? Having a reversed curse technique is more positive. So which has to do with healing. See what I'm saying? So if
Okay.
I want it, so if I is using curse energy against you and you got hurt and you have the ability to use reverse curse technique, you could heal yourself by internally applying negative emotions and negative emotions, put them together to create that positive kind of output. That makes
Oh,
sense.
cool.
So JJK, the curse energy system is both simple and complex at the same time. And if you look at it kind of like Nen, it makes a lot more sense.
Okay.
So like, that's basically and it's funny. I wrote that down as one of my more favorite power systems in anime. And there's one more that I genuinely like. That's not as complex as JJK or Nen, but I think
What is it?
it's Fire Force's power system. Fire Force's power system is hands down. Like I love Nen. I think Curse Energy is great. Fire Force's power system is my favorite power system to me in all of anime.
Try not to spoil this one because I do plan on watching it soon.
Okay, I'm not going to spoil it. I'm not going to spoil it. I'm just going to explain how it works, okay?
Sure.
So you have ignition abilities, so all of Fire Force's power system has to do on the application of fire or heat, okay?
Makes sense.
So, and that covers a multitude of things when it comes to what heat and fire can do. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So I'm not going to say who has certain abilities. I'm just going to list off some examples of what those powers are, okay?
Sure.
So you have the ignition abilities. You have second generation pyrokinetics and third generation pyrokinetics. First generation doesn't count because those are like the main, not antagonists, but the main plot issue in the story, which is like people are spontaneous human combustion, right?
Uh-huh.
So people that are turning into infernals, right? Those are what you would call first generation pyrokinetics. Those are people that, for some reason, cannot withstand your body cannot withstand spontaneous human combustion or the process of fire coming into you. Okay, so those are first generation. Second generation and third generations are most of the characters that we see. So second generation pyrokinetics can only manipulate existing flames. So if there's a fire in front of me, I can use my second generation pyrokinetic abilities to enhance or manipulate that fire. Does that make sense so far? Third generation pyrokinetics are those that can create flames themselves. So like Shinra, he creates flames from his feet and uses them in a variety of different ways. Like
Just
as far
his
as
feet?
just his feet.
Huh.
But other people can do it from their hands. I know
Yeah,
people
yeah.
like can output it in certain ways, like eyes, mouth, whatever. You know what I'm saying? They can do
Sure.
it in different ways. So, third generation pyrokinetics are the more versatile and cooler applications of it, but there are so many different ones. So, like the ability to remove heat to create ice. There's that one, which is you never really thought about that, which is pretty cool. Turning kinetic energy into thermal energy. Like if somebody's like punching you, like as you know how forces work in physics, as you start to take that kinetic energy into your body, it translates into thermal energy. So then you can output the thermal energy. Then you have thermal sight, where you can kind of see everything around you like a thermal radar. You have like this one girl like can find the path to an explosion, like by seeing the flames seeing the ignition flames in the air. She can tell where explosion's about to happen, which is really cool.
That's cool.
You can create heat strokes, like just like create this like wave of heat that can cause like heat strokes.
Yeah.
The light just like dimmed in my apartment.
Yeah, I
like
saw that.
You saw that? That was weird.
Yeah.
Creating black smoke, you know what I'm saying? That gets really, really hot. There's plasma, which is another application of fire. And then turning heat into magnetic fields. You know what I'm saying? Using plasma and creating heat to create magnetic fields. And there are clear limitations to third generation pyrokinetics. Like if you use your ability too much, you can overheat, which causes tephrosis, which is like your body starts to chip away. Like how how like something gets really charred and chips off.
Yeah.
That's basically what tephrosis is. And that's a result of overheating on your body.
Huh.
So then you have with second generation pyrokinetics, they're very useful in a fight, especially when somebody has very basic fire abilities. Like Maki is a second generation pyrokinetic. It's a lot easier for her to fight Shinra because all she has to do is use Shinra's flames against him. You know what I'm saying? Because if all he can really do is shoot fire out of his feet and he tries to attack her, she could just take the fire out of his feet and use it against him.
Sure.
See what I'm saying?
Okay.
But they may not be useful for people who use either different types of fire or people who have ignition abilities that don't necessarily use flames.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? So like Maki would be weak against somebody that uses their power of heat manipulation to create magnetic fields because it's more heat and not a flame. If that makes sense.
Uh-huh.
So like the application of fire and heat makes things a lot cooler than most of the other power systems I've seen in anime, and so that's one of my favorite ones. I'm not going to spoil it for you. I really want you to watch it, but there are other things that like go along with it, and there are other powers I think are really cool within it. But just having that versatility and having an understanding of the science behind fire. You see what I'm saying? Like understanding what fire can do in a real world application of it in order to create this fictional power system is phenomenal to me. So also with Fire Force ending, I also want to give that a shout out as well. So that's just another thing. So like those are the three: Fire Force's power system, Nen. I know I gave a crash course on it.
Sure.
And then Jujutsu Kaisen. If you think about cursed energy like Nen, it makes the understanding of cursed energy way easier.
Yeah.
So I know we talked about like I guess a power system that we don't necessarily like in the Dragon Ball Z power system, but are there any other power systems that you might not like?
I have a stone to throw in this still pond.
Okay.
Going away from anime. This might come as a shock to people who don't play this game, but people who do play this game might agree with me. The Keyblade. The Keyblade is now a power system, which at first it wasn't.
Okay. So explain, because I've played Kingdom Hearts, but I didn't play the most recent one. So how is this a power system?
Kingdom Hearts is one of my favorite video game series of all time, as well as
Mm-hmm.
But for those out there, I grew up playing it and I still enjoy it. I liked Kingdom Hearts 3 because I'm a fan. But the thing that does bother me when I start thinking about it is just in the first game, there's one Keyblade. And the whole point of the game is like whoever has the Keyblade is like the chosen one, which it's not what's it called? Original, but still it kind of makes it a little more interesting. It's like, oh shit, only Sora can hold it. And then towards the end it's like, oh my god, Riku has it. But then it goes back to Sora and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then Riku has like a Keyblade, but it's like in the lore it's manufactured. It's not like the real one.
Okay.
So it's still, and then when Mickey shows up at the end, you see that he has one. So it's like, oh my god, Mickey's like fucking Mickey, so he has to be super strong in this universe.
Right.
And Sora, that's crazy. And then in Chain of Memories, you kind of get into Roxas a little bit, and then in 2, you find out Roxas can dual wield, and you're like, oh, that's interesting. Why can't he do that? You find out he's Sora's nobody. But then Birth by Sleep comes into the picture. I love Birth by Sleep. I think Birth by Sleep is top 3 Kingdom Hearts games. I really do love the story. I love the characters. But this is when it starts getting introduced that 12 years before the story of... Hello. My dad's looking at me through the window. 12 years before the original story of Kingdom Hearts 1, Aqua, Terra, and Ventus are training to be Keyblade Masters.
Yeah.
So they all have their own Keyblades. And they're getting trained by Master Ericus, who has his own Keyblade.
Mm-hmm.
And they invite a guest, which is Master Xehanort, who has his own Keyblade. And Master Xehanort has a lackey, Vanitas, who has his own Keyblade. You see where I'm going with this?
Yeah.
So now it's turned into something that it's like, okay, there's one Keyblade. Sora can use it. He can use it to, obviously, he can use it as a sword, but he can also use it for spells. Different spells. But now, in this game, it gets introduced that, like, yeah, they can, all these 3 can use it for the same spells Sora can, but they also have, like, specialties. Like Aqua's specialty is Diamond Dust, which is more ice powers. And Terra, as you can tell by his name, his specialty is like earth.
Yeah.
And his special move is like Earth Shaker. I forgot the name. And Ventus, as you can tell by his name, his specialty is air.
Mm-hmm.
And then Kingdom Hearts Union Cross comes out for the phones, and you find out years before the original game, years before Birth by Sleep, like there was a whole colony of people that had Keyblades. Just like a whole town, everyone's got a Keyblade.
Oh my god.
And it's a special town. It's not like a regular, like, hello. Like, yes, everyone here is part of, like, a colony and they're all warriors. But still, it's like, it got to the point where it's like, now in this third game, fucking Sora is not the Keyblade Master. He's just... Dude, actually, in the terms of the story, Sora isn't a Keyblade Master. Riku is.
He's not. I just remember that he's not. Like he
So
gets his Keyblade taken away, right? It's
So
given to
technic-
Riku.
But not even that, because in Dream Drop Distance, they're taking like the Mark of Mastery test, and if you pass, you become a
Yes.
master.
I remember that.
Sora fails. So so Riku is like technically better than him, but it gets to the point at the end of Kingdom Hearts 3, the one that saves the day is Sora.
He does.
So-
oh my god.
So this like power system is like kind of like wonky, because like it's not really explained yet what makes Sora so different.
Yeah.
And you can go the easy route of 1, plot armor,
He's the main character.
2, if you want to go in terms of like the universe,
Yeah.
the power of friendship, I guess. But like that's not explaining it.
Exactly.
Like if Riku is just technically more skilled, smarter than Sora, stronger than Sora, taller, what makes Sora better? Like, why couldn't Riku go kill Xehanort? It had to be Sora. Why? If Sora can do like the... Not even to mention, you've played Kingdom Hearts 2, right?
Yeah.
Okay, a really good character from that game that got introduced in that game. Well, introduced in Chain of Memories. Axel.
Yes.
In Dream Drop Distance, all the nobodies from from Organization 13 become whole again. Because if you become a nobody and someone kills your heartless and your nobody, you become whole again. So half of them decide to go back to being a nobody. Axel stays as his human form, which is Lee, but he was like, just call me Axel, I'm used to it.
Yeah.
But he has powers, he has fire powers and like the chakrams. But no, for the sake of the story, because they needed 7 lights to go up against 13 darknesses. They didn't need to do this, but they did it just because Tetsuya Nomura said 7 lights.
Yeah.
He can summon a Keyblade now. Did you know that?
No. Is his Keyblade the 2 like things on his that he has? Because his weapons are really cool.
It's 1 chakram smaller.
Yeah.
That's the hilt, and the blade is like a thing of fire. So,
yeah, I've seen his before. Okay. Yeah.
So it's like, sure, it's cool, and I like Axel. He's cool. I'm glad he's a good guy now, but you can definitely tell it's like you didn't need to do that. Like in Kingdom Hearts 3, he's been training for like a few months.
Yeah.
So I'm glad they didn't make him sick. He gets mollywopped in Kingdom Hearts 3. I'm not gonna get like fucking Sayax is like, sit down, and he was like, fine.
Oh no.
So like I'm glad they didn't just make him like, I have a strong heart. But still, it's like now he just randomly can conjure up his own Keyblade that looks like his chakram. Like, it's just, I really hope going forward they explain the Keyblades more.
Mm-hmm.
Because I do genuinely like the game. It's fun gameplay. I've been following it since I was a kid. It came out the same year my sister was born, so I've known it as long as my sister.
Oh my god.
But it's just like, I need a little bit more explanation than just the power of friendship.
Yeah, but are you really gonna get it though? Because you gotta think at the end of the day, it is Kingdom Hearts. They're not gonna explain it.
I don't know, because the thing is, like, where the story is right now, spoilers, I guess, if anyone cares, like the Kairi, Riku, and like the whole squad has to find Sora wherever he's at.
Yeah.
But because he might be in like a different universe, not universe, a different like world.
Mm-hmm.
And that's like, I think do you know who Yozora is?
Mm-mm. I have to play Kingdom Hearts 3 to really like.
Fun fact: Dylan Sprouse is the voice of him.
Okay.
But he's like a new. What people think that Tetsuya Nomura is getting his idea out for Final Fantasy Versus 13, because I don't know if you know this, Tetsuya Nomura created Noctis.
Yeah, so I know a lot of the
And
Final Fantasy characters are in Kingdom Hearts.
Final Fantasy 15 was supposed to be Final Fantasy Versus 13. And it was supposed to be in the same universe as Final Fantasy 13. And it was going to be very dark. It was going to be in like a future setting and this and that. But then they kicked him from the project, but kept his characters.
Ooh.
So Tetsuya Nomura didn't. The final version of 15 isn't Tetsuya Nomura's like vision.
Yeah.
So people think this new character and this new world that Sora's stuck in is going to be what he wanted for Versus 13. So
Okay.
actually, now that you made me talk about it, yeah, they probably won't explain it because he's going to go into his story, his OG story of Versus 13.
Yeah, no, like I think, and who's to say when that's going to come out anyway? Too, that's also a problem.
Yeah, because he is working on the Final Fantasy VII remake series.
Exactly.
He's not the main director anymore, so I think he's focusing on Kingdom Hearts, but he is still like the creative director.
Yeah. So we'll see.
So he's got a lot on his plate.
Yeah. Okay. So it's funny. So you kind of go into a more video game route. I'll get on my video game tangent as far as power systems go too, and it's a game that I love. It's a game that I've talked about multiple times on this podcast. Franchise is Destiny.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
So in the lore of Destiny, there are there's the big concept of the light and the traveler. Just to speed run this story with the lore, Light and the Traveler comes to humans, revives them with these things called ghosts, and allows them to use this special ability called the Light. Okay, so in order to fight the darkness. Okay, so just for that out of the way, the Light gives certain people specific powers. Okay, so you have people using solar energy, which plays more fire abilities. You have people using I can't remember the name of the electricity versions. You have solar, you have void, and you have this electricity energy. I can't remember the name of it, but or storm, whatever what it's called. So within those, they have those three, right? Usually, when a guardian is resurrected, they are given a specific subclass, right? They're given a specific subclass that they can. That they go about and use. So when it comes to the main characters of Destiny and their lore, Zavala is a Stormcaller. Not Stormcaller. That's much more for warlocks, but he uses the Storm ability. Is Zavala? Wait, or does he? Okay, so this is where my point is getting.
Sure.
I'm getting my point.
Yeah,
I'm getting
yeah,
my point. I'm getting to my point. So Ikora, I'll just go with Ikora. Ikora is mainly a void user. Cade is more of a solar user. He's what's called a gunslinger. He's more of a solar user. What is his name? Shax is more of a solar user as well. What is this guy's name? There's another main guy in the story lore of Destiny who uses void as well. So each person. Except for Zavala, I've seen Zavala use two different types of light abilities. I could have sworn he has, but which I don't understand how that works. But for the most part, I've seen him use the more storm uses or whatever. So here's my thing: I understand that it's an RPG, and I understand that it's it's an MMORPG. When you create a character, you can just swap out between the subclasses whenever you want to, right? And if you're supposed to be this chosen one type character, if you're the main character who's defeating all these enemies and going on to these raids and completing all these tasks, right? They should make it narratively make sense. They should
make sense
that you can use all three subclasses.
Yeah.
But when they talk about stuff in the lore, they always mention a certain sect of people who are a specific type of subclass.
Sure.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then also, they all say when it comes to using your special abilities, they don't really mention in the lore how frequently you can use your special abilities, because whenever they tell stories, they say, "Oh, he used X ability," which is basically their super. You know what I'm saying? To defeat a so and so amount of people. Do the same recharge mechanics work with those people in the lore, or do they can just do whatever their special ability? Can Ikora use her Nova Bomb, which is, you don't even know what that is, but it's a void ability. It's a void super where she basically throws this big gigantic orb of void energy at something. How many times can she use that consecutively?
Yeah.
How many times can she throw a grenade or use her void energy as a grenade separately? You know what I'm saying? It's one of those things where
the rules get funky when you can switch off or anything
between the actual game and the actual lore. Yes, am I going too deep into this situation? Yes, the answer is yes. I'm definitely overanalyzing this video game. However,
listen, the fact that you played Destiny 2, it means you're deep already.
Yeah.
So I don't blame you for thinking deep.
Am I overanalyzing this very video game? Am I overanalyzing a video game? Yes. Am I gonna stop overanalyzing it? Absolutely fucking not. Uh, but yeah, so like, I know the game design, and I know fans might not like it, and this could be a hot take when it comes to Destiny 2. But I feel like when they first made Destiny, considering the lore, they probably should have given you the option to choose a subclass and your type of subclass with a character. I know it limits your options sometimes,
Okay.
but creating new characters and having new builds, I think with the ability to transfer armor and items over, it shouldn't be that big of a hassle. I know the process of transferring those things over would be kind of annoying,
Sure.
but they, Bungie's, versatile enough to be able to make it easier, because they've done some things within Destiny 2 to make certain things easier for players. So like if I was to choose a warlock who was a sun singer, which is like a solar energy, like that would be my class, a warlock sun singer. That's my class. That's my build for the game of Destiny. If I wanted to make a Titan, if I wanted to make a hunter void stalker, like a one that uses void energy, that would be another build with other character I could make. I could make 3 different hunter builds and subclasses. That way it makes sense in the lore. Because if it's like, because they talk about you as a guardian, what are they going to say your subclass is? Because and I know people might be like, oh, you might be looking too deep into it. There is a lore story where they give you a section where they talk about you and they tell you what your favorite weapon was when you were alive. You see what I'm saying?
Oh, okay, yeah.
Do you see what I'm saying? There's
a
gun. There's an exotic weapon in the game called Bastion. Okay, and so you basically the story of how you get it. It basically you have to go back in time to find it. Okay, because it's the way you interact with a certain character is part of a causal loop, right? Where you have to go back in time to save him, and he gives you that weapon, and you go into the future to use the weapon. Okay. In the lore tab of that exotic weapon, it basically says that this was your favorite weapon when you were alive.
Sure.
So you can see how annoying it is when they talk about a certain character being a specific type of light bearer.
Yeah.
But then when they talk about you, they don't mention it.
Yeah.
So you see how that doesn't make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
I can see how, like, maybe they just added the whole, like, oh, this was your favorite weapon to kind of like a little nod, like, oh,
yeah.
You had this really rare weapon when you were alive, but then like it gets muddied when not everything else is personalized.
Yeah, and this is like a huge just overanalyzation of this game, which is very near and dear to my heart. I love this game so much, but
yeah,
and I'm a big fan of like games with heavy lore and stories attached to them. That's why for as much as I detest the turn-based style of Final Fantasy, I do enjoy the lore behind a lot of it. So, like, I do enjoy the lore behind. That's why I actually liked playing Final Fantasy 15, because of, like, the storyline behind it and stuff like that. So, I don't know. It's just one of those things. It's over-analyzation, but I definitely I enjoy it. So, real quick, so I know to move on to some other stuff like that. I know you wanted to talk about JoJo's. I know we said we were going to talk about it at the beginning of the episode. So, what do you think of JoJo's? Do you want to talk about Hamon and stands, or just stands?
Just stands, because I guess that's what's really it right now.
Yeah, I think Hamon was just like a prerequisite to stands, so it's like it's kind of in the background. The first 2 parts, most people skip those, which you shouldn't. You should not. But however, it's just kind of one of those things. So yeah, getting into stands. What do you think about it?
Bro, it's JoJo's a cool show, and I do genuinely like it. I'm in the middle of part 4 right now, so I'm not caught up.
Okay.
But it gets to the dude. So Dio was supposed to be like, holy shit, this is the strongest thing anyone's ever fucking faced, and this and that and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
But now I'm hearing rumblings about Made in Heaven.
Oh no, Made in Heaven is super dope, by the way.
So, but the thing is, like, it's like it's almost like Super Saiyan. The stand, fucking Star Platinum. He
Okay.
punches hard and he's fast.
Okay.
Cool. You sent me a TikTok the other day about a stand that uses math and angles for energy. What the fuck are you talking about? What do you mean? Stands were just Magician's Red and he has fire. And now fucking Kokichi uses sound. Like, it just they keep and that's why I like it so much, because it's fucking stupid. But that's the key word. It's fucking stupid.
I mean, okay. Here's why I have to like agree and both disagree with you, because this is where the versatility and the creativity of stands comes into play. Because
Yeah.
you can have Dio, who's main of the world, right? So his main ability is to stop time, right?
Sure. Yeah.
That's his main ability. So like, and also he has like the strength and speed of Jotaro. Good lord, if I fuck that up, Jotaro with his star platinum stuff, with like, you know, with the same kind of like punching and speed
Sure.
or whatever. It's cool. So that's fine. You know, making more creative bosses is just the next step. So when you have Made in Heaven, I don't know what I can't remember some of the other stands in there, but like even with with part 5 and how those villains and their stands work, and then you have Steel Ball Run with that. You know what I'm saying? That kind of those, that's like more of a manga JoJo's stuff. They haven't really been animated yet. Some of those stands, and what's funny is the stand with the TikTok that I sent you, that stand is in Steel Ball Run, I think.
Oh, it's not in Stone Ocean?
Wait, it could be in Stone Ocean. I don't know if we've gotten to that part yet, because, you know, like they split Stone Ocean into 2 parts, I think. So I think the second part of Stone Ocean is going to have that stand. I could be wrong about that though.
Okay.
But it's either in Stone Ocean or Steel Ball
Or
Run.
Steel Ball.
Either or. So what's so funny is like that's kind of the next step up. You have more creative villains, it makes it a lot easier. One thing I love about Stone Ocean is the fact that they use strategy, legit strategy, to beat a lot of the stands because of the limitations those stands have.
Yeah.
And that's the problem I have with JoJo's too, because it's like some of these stands are honestly kind of useless and are only really effective for maybe the first couple chapters, when you just now figure out who the stand is and you don't know what their ability is.
Hermit Purple did not do shit the whole part 3.
Hermit Purple was just, I think they just needed to give I can't, oh my god, I can't. Joseph. Okay, they just needed to give Joseph a stand ability. I feel like if he didn't have one, that'd be kind of lame. Like all 4 of them have stand abilities minus Joseph. That's kind of.
And then at the end, he's like, "I'm using Hermit Purple plus Hamon."
And I was like, okay, like, calm it down.
But the thing is, like, I agree with you that, like, in part 4, they're getting more strategic. In part 3, it was just a lot of hit harder, move faster. In part 4, it's a lot more strategic. So I do find it a little more interesting than what I said. Super Saiyan. It's not just be stronger. It's be smarter. Do this. Do that. But at the same time, it's almost like Super Saiyan, because just like all these crazy stands. But that's the charm of the show. The charm of the show is the fact that everything is so fucking crazy.
Yeah. Basically, it's like one of those things where I know I don't want to keep having to go back to Nen, but it has that same kind of feel where it's just so much shit you could potentially do with it.
Yeah.
And they're kind of more so based on people's personalities, their upbringings, how they, you know, came up in the world or whatever. So. And
question.
Yes.
Actually.
Okay.
Because I haven't finished part 4 yet.
Okay.
But Jotaro raises a question.
Okay.
Can stands learn abilities? because he learned how to stop time as well.
Okay, so I think that was an ability that he could have already. I think that was an ability he already knew how to do, but just didn't understand he could do it yet. Because you got to think also, Jotaro's main ability when it comes to Star Platinum is its speed.
Yeah.
So like, obviously it hits hard, but its main like I guess claim to fame is how fast it is. So being able to move fast to, in essence, transcend time. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? But also like him yelling out. Oh god, that might be a spoiler. Actually, never mind.
Don't say anything. Don't say anything. I'm genuinely
okay. So him being able to transcend time would be something he has, and I think like. Because also, you got to think, too, Dio's body is also a Joseph's body. Because he has a star on the back of his...
Jonathan's
It's
body.
Jonathan's body. So, Jonathan technically could have had the ability of stands, too. So, you would think that some of the powers could potentially overlap or just be split.
Okay.
So, maybe the world is just another kind of version of Star Platinum, but without the... You know what I'm saying? Without like the speed. Yeah. It has the time stopping ability without the other speed. You know what I'm saying? And so maybe Star Platinum, this is purely conjecture, but maybe Star Platinum has the speed plus that added time stopping ability that he already knew how to do, just didn't figure out he knew how to do it. You know what I'm saying? It could have something to do with the fact that Dio has the body of a Joestar.
Yeah. I'd never thought about the learning thing literally till right now.
Yeah.
Because when you're watching this animated, you just get hype.
Yeah.
Like when fucking Dio stops time and he's monologuing to himself. He's like, I can do it for 10 seconds now. And then you just fucking see Jotaro's finger just fucking... I'm like, oh, shit!
I mean, yeah, that's a good question, honestly. And people that are more versed in JoJo's, because I mean, we enjoy the show, but not as nearly enough as most JoJo fans on Twitter. So if anybody, again, free reign to tell us anything that we may get wrong in this episode, please.
Yeah.
Please tell us. Quick question for the One Piece community. Can somebody please, I know I've watched the show, I've gone all the way up to Enies Lobby and Water 7. Like Water 7, Enies Lobby is where I stopped watching One Piece. Not because I didn't like it, but because I just started watching other things. And then by the time I wanted to get back into it, it was so many episodes. I just didn't want to do it. So if somebody can explain to me the power system behind both Devil Fruits and Haki, that would be great too. And if you want to add to the conversation, please do when it comes to that kind of stuff too.
Hockey's a white people sport. Got you there.
I hate you. I hate you. HAKI, hockey. So like with stuff like that, if anybody that's a One Piece, nerd wants to jump in on that and explain that to me, that would be phenomenal. Just a generalization of power systems that I may not like. Any kind of magic power system, I'm not a fan of.
Does that include like Black Clover? I've never seen Black Clover.
Black Clover is the prime example of it because I feel like there's no versatility. It's just really basic. Like people learn a certain type of magic and then have spells in that grimoire associated with that kind of magic. You know what I'm saying? It's not a bad power system, and I want to get that out of the way. Black Clover and any other magic power system, with the exception of some, especially Black Clover. Black Clover's power system is not bad, okay? Because you have everybody has. I'm just not interested in it because of how basic it is. You know what I'm saying? Okay. How basic it is. What's funny is I consider spiritual pressure, for Bleach. I know, just kind of going on another tangent. I consider spiritual pressure kind of like a power system, but in like the Zanpakutos and Bankais, you can kind of call that a power system, but it's kind of, I don't know. I don't think it kind of falls within the same kind of. I don't think it falls within the same kind of like power system category because it's more so just. I don't know. It's kind of hard to explain, but I don't necessarily consider it within the same kind of power system category because it's not like you're using spiritual pressure to create your Zanbakuto, which then leads to the which then leads to the Shikai, which then leads to the Bankai and stuff like that. You're kind of chosen by the sword, and you kind of develop a relationship with it to develop a certain special ability within that sword that could be very potent or it could be fucking trash. You know what I'm saying? You could get a Kuchiki level Bankai and Zanbakuto and Bankai when Zebon Sakura and I can't remember Rukia's name for it, but like the ice powers, and you have, or you could have something like, what is his name? It's the bald dude. The bald guy is one where his Bankai is flashy, but not anything spectacular. You know what I'm saying? Like he has the regular sword and his Shikai when he turns it, when he like announces the name of his sword, it turns like a staff, like a bow staff with a spear on the end, which is fine, cool. Then when he releases his Bankai, it's like this really big, flashy, like giant sword type weapon, which is super fucking cool. But that's it. You know what I'm saying? And then you have something like Ichigo's Bankai, which just turns his sword black, and the Bankai is more so his body, like his suit, but his like what he wears. It's more of like a wearable Bankai than the actual sword itself. So his isn't very flashy, but it just increases his speed and strength and all that other stuff. So while yes, it's kind of with the Kingdom Hearts thing. While yes, you can say the power of Zanpakuto's is a power system, it's just in a way doesn't really fit some of the other ones in anime. So if you want to debate that with me too, again, I'm just gonna plug the Twitter. I want all the comments. I want some healthy discussion about power systems. Just shout me out if you have any questions about it. So yeah, any other ones that you don't necessarily like at all?
Not ones that come up to mind. This article that I was looking up, they mentioned Naruto, but I
Chakra's
don't watch Naruto.
Chakra.
I don't like it.
You're just gonna leave it at that.
I've never been into it. I don't like Naruto's voice in either dub or sub, and genuinely, I don't like the designs. I don't like the way everyone looks, so I don't want to watch it.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. I'll just say, if you were a kid around the time Naruto first released on Toonami, I feel like you would like it. Trying to watch Naruto now, to me, I feel like I wouldn't like it.
Oh, you know what might have fucked me up?
What?
The first ever episode of Naruto I ever watched as a kid. I was at my grandma's house. I was in the playroom, and Toonami was on. And the first ever episode I watched was a Gaara-centric episode.
Yeah.
Before he was a good guy. So he scared the ever living fuck out of me as a kid.
Might have been. Was it? Who was he fighting? Somebody, or was he?
He was fighting someone.
Was it Rock Lee? Was it tuning exams, or was it the?
No, it wasn't. It wasn't Rock Lee. It was like outside. It was kind of a scary fight. Like, he was scary.
Was he fighting Sasuke?
Maybe, I don't know. I saw it as a kid.
I think the episode you're referring to is probably when Sasuke actually uses the Chidori and makes Gaara bleed for the first time. Chidori, sorry, I butchered that. When he makes Gaara bleed for the first time and Gaara loses his fucking mind. I think that's
Yeah.
Okay, that's a great episode, by the way.
But as a kid, I got scared because I didn't know what the fuck was going on.
Yeah.
And then growing up, I don't know. I just think it's weird how they're ninjas, but they have like modern day tracksuits.
Modern day tracksuits?
Dude, I could see some people wearing people wear Naruto's tracksuit like now.
I mean, I guess, yeah.
I don't know. It's never clicked for, and I'm not saying I'm the end all be all anime fucking, I don't know. My first anime I ever watched was Sword Art Online, and I don't think it's that bad. So, I'm not saying I have phenomenal taste. I'm just saying I don't like
They're gonna drag you if they hear that.
Listen, Sword Art Online is a 5 out of 10. It's fine. It gets fucking stupid. It does get dumb, but it's
Okay.
fine.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like a lot of people's first anime that they finish would be Sword Art Online. It makes sense. It was cool for a little bit, then you watch
Sure.
other shows and you
Yeah.
realize it's not that good. But
Yeah.
I will say, just as far as Naruto goes, the power system's fine until, okay, and since you're not going to watch it, I can spoil it because I don't really,
Go
I don't
ahead.
really care.
Go ahead. Yeah, yeah.
It's fine until they introduce essentially aliens. When they introduce like the Otsutsuki clan and like their impact on the ninja world and how they interact with chakra, when they introduce those people at the end, okay, at the end, when they introduce them at the end, it makes things way more complicated because then it's like it gets rid of the real world applications of what chakra is, because like chakra essentially, gosh, I'm gonna butcher this, but basically, like, chakra is a real life thing that people talk about, like the
Yeah.
certain points in your body that have the energy flow and other thing like that. There's certain chakras that align your body.
Sure.
And you can see that when it comes to like the 8 gates with Might Guy and Rock Lee, which like this with the chakras that go all the way up from your stomach to your brain, right? So, and then also just how the flow of energy goes throughout your body, and that's like a big thing when it comes to chakra. They took that and then they changed it into, this alien came down to Earth, ate this thing called the chakra fruit, which gave her knowledge of chakra. She had sons.
shit.
She had sons who taught humans how to utilize and wield chakra in their body. You see what I'm saying? How that kind of like
Sure.
flips. And again, I'm a Naruto fan. I love the show. I love Naruto. But
Sure.
but I feel like some fans have to be realistic about that power system though, because
No, but since you're a fan, that gives you the right to be critical.
yeah, they have to give at least some criticism to the ending of Naruto, how they dealt with that power system. Again, the ocular jutsu with Sharingan and the Byakugan is fine. The Byakugan I feel like is a little bit better in terms of more real world application than
Okay.
the Sharingan is. The Sharingan's fine. When you start getting into like the Rinnegan, it's like, bro, like that's a whole another thing, and it's just like, I don't know. I think the ocular jutsu is fine, cool, whatever. I just think when you turn chakra into more of an alien foreign concept than instead of it being a human concept, that's where things start getting weird. And I think that's where they kind of lost me towards the end.
This article says like part of the reason why Naruto remains one of the most egregious examples in recent memory of a Shonen Jump series going downhill is because of poor power scaling towards the end.
I wouldn't even say power scaling. I just think them adding the base, like changing the original base of chakra. That's really it.
Changing the rules up.
the original, not even the rules, because the rules still apply. Like
Okay.
as far as your chakra reserves and how you apply and use chakra. Like that's not something they changed. I'm saying the base of how chakra was created, formed. It changed from it, instead of being that's something that somebody has in their body. They changed it from original having somebody from having it in your body to changing it so now it's some kind of alien concept where aliens taught humans how to use chakra. You see what I'm saying?
Okay.
So
Yeah.
like that's kind of where they lost me when it comes to that. But
Okay.
again, I'm just gonna plug the Twitter the entire episode. If you want to debate or talk about power systems to me after hearing this episode, please feel free to add us because I really want to talk about it. So
And if you want to debate me on why Naruto is good, I will not listen.
yeah, I mean, you might be talking to a brick wall on that one when it comes to Zoe, but I'm welcome to talk about anything power system wise. So
I'll talk about power systems.
yeah, exactly. So yeah, I think that's really all I have for the power system
Same
stuff.
here.
Do you have any music recommendations for today?
Ooh, let's see what I've been listening to. I've been listening to this single on repeat. It's called It's called Bunker/Pre-Roll. That's the name of the single, and it's all in
Okay.
caps. I found these guys on TikTok. It's My Name Isn't J Mac and Tommy Richmond.
Oh my
It's
god.
kind of like 2017 Brockhampton,
Okay.
where like they like doing like the high pitched voice, but it's like a bop your head,
Yeah.
and it's kind of depressing. The whole thing is like, I think I am the lamest in the room, like shit like that, and it's like I don't want to bother nobody, but it's still kind of hard. That I've been
Yeah.
listening to that a lot, and as an
Okay.
album, I recommend "The Joy of Music, The Job of Real Estate" by Wolfpack. And they're like a funk band.
Okay.
I think you'd like that album.
Really?
Yes.
That's good. Okay. I'll check that out. What was it called again?
The Joy of Music, comma, The Job of Real Estate by Wolfpack.
Oh, I'll just write that down. Hold on. Wolf. How you spell that?
Vulfpeck. Wolfpack.
Okay. I'll check that out.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll definitely check that out. So for me today, two things. One, I know we talked about LP by JPEG Mafia as as the one of the albums of the year for you. I think what it was, right?
Yeah, it was a top tenner.
It was my honorable mention, one of your best albums of the year. He just released the offline tracks that didn't make the original online version. It's called
Which has one of my favorite songs by him
it's called
ever.
It's called Offline EP, right? Which has, I think we might be talking about the same song. Hazard Duty Pay might be JPEG's
hard.
best song. It might be JPEG's best song. 100%.
It's so good. It's
so fucking good.
I added the sample to my playlist after I think it's
The
Anita
original,
Baker.
the original song. Like though when it comes in, oh my god, bro, I just can't.
It's so hard,
It's
so hard.
so fire. And then the Kimbe is also good. God Don't Like Ugly. I wish that song was longer. I hate that. I hate how a good song is like really short. I wish that song was longer. Untitled is still good, and 100 Emoji is like it's kind of like it's a song flip. I think it's a song flip. So it's really good too. So definitely go check the Offline EP by JPEG Mafia, and then another EP by Weston Estate. And I think Luke has a couple of songs by them that I heard when we were over his apartment, and I kind of told you about them in passing. They released an EP called Maggie Valley. So there are 3 new songs on there that like they released for the EP. 3 other songs were singles that they already put out that were really good. So you have 60, Silence, and Daisies are the 3 new songs by them, and then Pairs, Stoked, and Outside. Outside is one of my favorite songs ever by them. Are on the EP. They're kind of like that bedroom pop, that kind of suburban, like suburban preppy type music. You know what I'm saying? Like that suburban prep.
Do they
prep boy
sing
type
about
music.
girls?
Yeah, they sing about like
Then I'm
relationships
all
and
about
girls. That's just the key for Zoe. That's how you get him
Yes,
hooked on music. Do they talk about girls on there? Bingo, you're sold. So yeah, they're really smooth. The way they kind of carve their own like lane out for themselves in terms of their own style of music. And I think that they're very niche right now, but I hope they blow up because they're a very good group together. I think it's a bunch of guys that go to like Duke and UNC that like live in that North Carolina area, and that's so like you can kind of tell where their influence and style comes from.
Yeah.
So like they're very preppy suburban group of guys that sing about
A Southern Vampire Weekend. I'll say.
in a way, but you can't. They're not really Southern. No, it's weird. It's like
I know. I just said that because Vampire Weekend's from New York.
Yeah, and they're not like it's not like the preppy white boy type music either, because I think only one of their members is white. I think like 2 of them. I think like one of them is Hispanic, one of them's white, and like 2 of them are like Indian. So like it's one of those things where they just, I guess, like them sing about their environment, whether that be in the preppy kind of life.
This picture's hard.
Yeah, with like the preppy
That
kind of
picture is hard.
Yeah, with the preppy environment of like Duke and UNC, it kind of influences their music as well. So I think that that's a cool EP that I think everybody needs to go check out. And that's it. So again, if you want to debate about anything music-wise too, if you have music recommendations that you want to give us, please feel free to. If you want to debate either of us on power systems, probably not Naruto for Zoe, but you can debate Naruto with me if you want to. I might have to, reread some stuff or go do some more research about it just in case I need to pull up some facts on everybody. But it is what it is. That's everything. You know what's funny? I thought we were going to go pretty long with this episode, and
Yeah,
honestly we did. So it's just one of those things. We had a lot to cover. So yeah, if you want to talk to us, you like the episode. Also, for bigger creators, if I share these episodes and you guys end up listening to them, so if Moody, if you're listening to it, if you were listening to the Ava one, please feel free to give us a shout out or offer some come on down too, or as some feedback as well. Also, shout out to Anna Monday 365. We will get you on the podcast at one point in time. AQ, we see you, and we're definitely going to get you on the podcast at one point in time. We got to make sure all of our rigs are set up too. So that looks like all the time that we have for today. I've been Nostalgia, as told by Zoe. We'll see you guys next time. Peace.